Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. My name is MetagrossMan, and today we're here with another Wi-Fi battle. This time we are in the OU tier once again, and we are here with another of our Citra Wi-Fi battles. This time against Reeves, who I found in the Pokemon Battlers Discord server. The server's information, the Discord link to the server is linked in the description down below. I encourage you to check that out if you are an avid Wi-Fi battler like I am and want to participate in a variety of Wi-Fi battles and then potentially have a chance to battle me as well. So this is another one of our OU Wi-Fi battles, and this is of course another Citra Wi-Fi battle. Shoutouts to Aaron for the Citra. His information is linked down below, as is my stuff. Let's hope Aaron get to 500 subs because your boy is very close. Check him out down below, and also while you're subbing to him, sub to me too, please, because I greatly appreciate that. But looking at team preview, we've got a Ferrothorn, Tapu Lele with the Z Crystal, Megazord X, Choice Scarf, Choice Scarf Keldeo Resolute, Defensive Zapdos with Leftovers, and Toxic or Physically Defensive Gliscor against a Rotom Wash, Magearna, Landorus Therian, Megalopony, Heatran, and Tangrowth. So, looking at team preview, I'm anticipating him to lead off with his Rotom Wash or his Landorus Therian. In either case, I'm going to lead off with my Ferrothorn because I need Stealth Rocks for things like his Landorus. And Stealth Rocks are just chip on what looks like a potentially physically defensive team or a bulky team anyway. So I want these rocks on the field. So we're going to go ahead and lead off with our boy Ferrothorn, and he hopefully leads off with his Rotom Wash. But yeah, with that said, let us jump in. But yeah, so we are challenged by Reeves. I lead off with Barbara, our Ferrothorn. Because he leads off with the Rotom Wash. So I got the lead right. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't have you sitting here with Leftovers. He does miss his Will-O-Wisp, which is unfortunate. So I'm able to get my rocks up for pretty much free. But it's unfortunate the Will-O-Wisp did miss. But he does have Defog later on. He does land the second Will-O-Wisp, which kind of is unfortunate because I do have Power Whip on this set. So I was going to try to get some nice chip damage off on him, or nice damage off on him. Power Whip reduces the damage to about 30%, which means he is offensive, somewhat offensive. So I'm going to go ahead and take burn damage, which is fine. He switches out Rotom Wash, of course, because he's like, I don't need to take a Power Whip, but predicting him to do that, I just figured I'd make the aggressive play and click knockoff, and I'm able to click knockoff and get the Assault Vest knocked off this thing, which ends up being such a good thing later on. You guys will not believe. So I take more burn damage, and the Leftovers are negated. I'm like, okay, well, I can't sit in front of this thing. And I'm like, I'm going to pressure him immediately, anticipating him to click knockoff into my Zard. He actually fires off Hidden Power Fire. I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't do much, so cool. So I get the Zard in for pretty much free. He switches out. He is Regenerator into his Rotom Wash, and I'm like, okay, well, I kind of should have figured he would do that. But he takes rocks. I go ahead and Mega Evolve. To my nice shiny Zard X, and I'm able to get off a nice powerful Flare Blitz on his face, which is going to be resisted, so it's not going to do much, but it does do a good chunk. He takes some recoil. His Citrus Berry pops, or is it? It's Papa Berry actually. And I'm like, what is he doing? So I'm like, okay, well now I can't stay in front of a Hydro Pump, so I'm gonna go into my Barbara, which can be the safe switch into this thing every time. So he does fire up the Hydro Pump, and he is talented enough to land it. So he does land the Hydro Pump, and I chew it up. It does literally, look at that, it did literally nothing. Leftovers, then burn, which is fine. And then I fire off a Power Whip here, I believe, as he fires off Defog. I'm like, oh, I forgot this thing got Defog, but it's fine. I can get rocks up later. I instead decided to click Knockoff, actually, to get rid of his Leftovers, but it didn't do much, and I didn't see an item come off, because he just uses Papa Berry, I realized. So I'm like, okay, well, fine. Volt Switch out. I'm going to try to get my rocks up again. because he doesn't feel safe anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get my rocks up again because he does have a Landorus on the field. He's gonna go back into Pescetti because he has Hidden Power Fire. I'm gonna get my rocks up for free, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to stay in front of this thing because you kind of pretty much revealed Hidden Power Fire to me once already. So I don't want to stay in, so I'm gonna switch out into our physically defensive Zapdos because I'm like, okay, well, I can get a good chunk of damage off on this thing with Hidden Power Ice or Heat Wave and pressure him out. Just click Earthquake, 15 minutes stay in. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, that's cool. Fire off Heat Wave, and because of the Assault Vest being gone, this is able to 2-hit KO. Through the Assault Vest, that would have been a 4-hit KO. I do snag the burn, which is a little unfortunate, which means this isn't going to do much. And he does knock off my leftovers, which again is fine. Because I'm really not concerned. He does switch out from his Pescetti because he wants to play with Regenerator. He goes into Gnarls, his Landorus Therian, and he plays this Landorus Therian fantastically. I'm able to fire off the Heat Wave. You'll find out what I mean in endgame later. I'm able to get a good chunk off on him. Unfortunately, no burn. He's U-turn, and my mind instantly says he's Choice Scarf. My mind instantly says he's Choice Scarf. So then he switches back into his Pescetti, takes rocks. I fire Hidden Power Ice, which is kind of a middle ground play because it does the same amount of damage, or somewhat the same amount of damage as with Heat Wave, but it applies pressure to the Landorus. He's just going to keep pivoting between the two of these, and instead he's going to go into Heatran thinking this is Hidden Power Fire. I'm going to fire Hidden Power Ice, because that's what this is. Hidden Power Ice, it does not do much to him, as Heatran is a FizzDef set. This game is kind of long because it does take a while before Mon dies. We're just kind of playing momentum games for a while. I'm going to ship off World Switch because that's all I can do into my Toxic Kids our Gliscor. As he clicks up Stealth Rocks, I'm like, okay, well, I can't have these on the field, and I need this Heatran dead, as I do the Rotom. So he's going to get Leftovers Recovery, and I'm like, I'm not having any of this. I should just click Earthquake. And then I realized, after I click Earthquake, or anticipating the Earthquake switch, I actually click Ice Fang. But he does not do that. He instead clicks Magma Storm and almost 2-hit KOs me. He does 2-hit KO me after Magma Storm chip damage, but I also have Toxic Heal triggering as well. So after the Toxic Heal is not a 2-hit KO through Magma Storm, I believe. No, it's not a 2-hit KO through Magma Storm because Toxic is saving me. He does switch out, which releases me from Magma Storm. He goes into his He on the correct turn, predicting me to click Earthquake this time, and I do click Earthquake. So he does make a nice prediction there. So I'm like, okay, well, Toxic Heal, I can get more recovery, and I cannot sit here in front of a Hydro Pump. I'm going to go back into Barbara. As you'll notice, we're playing a very, very aggressive game here. He's going to get off his Defog again, because he anticipated me to switch, because he's like, there's no way I stay in, anticipating the Earthquake. So he is able to get rid of hazards on both sides, but we both have our hazard setters still available to us. I'm going to go ahead and play aggressive a little bit, and I'm just going to click the Power Whip, I believe, and he goes to Volt Switch, and he is able to double out because he wants to preserve his Defogger as much as he can. He goes into his Bro-Punny, his Lopunny. I'm going to get my rocks back up because I was like, there's no way you stay in because I would get rid of you, potentially. So he gets his Lopunny in for free, kinda. I get my rocks up again, but he can also get his rocks up again, and I double out into a Toxic Kids, I believe. He actually Power Up punches, I'm able to chew it up, and I'm like, okay, well then now you get to chew this, this Iron Barb's damage, so chew this damage, and this Leech Seed, because I'm like, I need to wear this Lopunny down, because it's actually a Mega Lopunny, or what's supposed to be a Mega Lopunny, but unfortunately, Reeves does not have his Mega Ring because he forgot to get it, so it's only regular Lopunny, which means this is entirely a different threat, which means I can deal with it. So I've got Leech Seed working for me, I've got, Rocky Helmet going for me, and I'm like, okay, well now I can switch into this thing for free. He does click Power Up Punch, he goes to +2, Doesn't do much, and I'm thinking, he doesn't have Ice Punch. There's no reason why he has Ice Punch. I'm a stupid boy. Every Mega Lopunny has an Ice Punch on it. Unfortunately, I'm stupid and I don't realize every Lopunny has Ice Punch on it. And so he does click Ice Punch here, and he is able to knock me out because I forgot he was +2. He's +2, he's able to knock out my Toxic Kids, which means my Defogger is dead. Which means he's now safe to get rocks up on his side, or on my side forever. And so I'm like, okay, this is a threat now. Secret Sword, Choice Scarf knocks this thing out. So, at this point, my first Pokemon died 17 minutes into the game. He goes into this stupid thing. Gearhead, the Magearna, and I'm like, okay, well now I can't stay in because you click Thorcan and you blow me away. Go into Ferrothorn. Try to get rocks up again. He goes Shift Gear. I'm like, oh. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good. That's not good. He has leftovers. He's not Scarf because he did just reveal Shift Gear. He's leftovers, which means to me, he's a bulky set. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He's a bulky sweeper with Soul Heart. He switches out back into his Heatran to try to get me out of this game as quickly as possible. As I go ahead and get up the Leaf Seed, because I wanted to wear down the Magearna. Because wearing that Magearna down would be beautiful. Leftovers on him. I take Leaf Seed Recovery, and I'm like, okay, well now I can't stay in on this because I don't have my Ground type switch into this anymore because I'm stupid and Ice Punch exists on every Lopunny. So I do switch out into our Red Eyes Dragon because I anticipated him to click a Fire type move, as he does click Magma Storm, or rather he clicks Toxic, and I'm like, okay, what's this? What is this set? It's a defensive chip set actually. It's a defensive Heatran with chip. He has Toxic, Magma Storm, and a few other moves that were never revealed in this game. So now I'm sitting in front of this thing with Toxic on me. I'm like, oh, come on. And so I click Earthquake here, and he does predict that. He goes into his Landorus, or he goes into Piscetti, which actually the Earthquake through Piscetti is a 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks. It is a 2-hit KO from where he's at. So that's fine. It's actually not 3-hit KO from after where he's at. Through burn and everything else, it is a 3-hit KO. Roughly a 3-hit KO. And so then I'm just like, okay, well, I feel like Dragon Claw's gonna knock it out. So I'm able to save to click Dragon Claw and knock that thing out. So now the momentum is starting to swing in my favor a little bit. Which means this game is finally going somewhere. He goes into Gnarls again, and I'm like, okay, this thing is not Scarf. This thing is not Scarf. But then, I told you guys earlier on, he's Scarf. But then I thought, his attack drop, I don't want to stay in, because I have an attack drop. Go back into Barbara, try to get Leaf Seeds off on him again, as he then fires off the Earthquake, which he was safe to do. And this actually knocks out Barbara, almost. The 2-hit KOs Barbara from where he's at comfortably. So unfortunately Barbara's not a safe switch in, but looking at how much damage that did, I thought that was a banded hit, because he does click Earthquake again, but that's because he's Scarfed, remember this. That's because he's Scarfed. So banded, or Choice Scarf Landorus is able to knock out Barbara again. So again, my rocks are gone. And so I go into Toxic Corn because at that point I'd forgotten he was Choice Scarf. And he does switch out, playing the Choice Scarf correctly, into He again, which is his Rotom. I click Hidden Power Ice because I'm like, I need to attack what's in front of me and get this thing out of here as quickly as possible. Then I click Volt Switch as he does the same. I click Volt Switch and I'm able to get a good chunk off on him. He lives on like 3 HP. I switch out into Ukulele, our Tapu Lele, and unfortunately this kid fires a Hydro Pump in my face, I believe. Right? Right? No. He gets Defog off because he wants to make sure that his Rotom gets back in one more time, and also my Stealth Rocker is dead. So I'm like, okay, well I can Calm Mind up in front of you and be fine because, you know, You can't do much to me, and the burn should kill you. Hydro Pump is not going to 2-hit KO me because, no, it is actually. It is a 2-hit KO because of the critical, but naturally that would not 2-hit KO me. I'm like, okay, well, Psyshock's going to knock you out, so I need to knock this thing out before he lands another Hydro Pump and kills me off. Because he was in range to kill me with Hydro Pump again. If I knock this thing off, he goes into Gnarls again. I'm like, I keep telling myself, he's not Scarf. He's not Scarf. He's not Scarf. He's not Scarf. Even though we know he is Choice Scarf, he's able to knock off he's able to click knockoff. And at this moment, I realize, oh crap, he's Choice Scarf. At this point, though, Choice Scarf Lele or Choice Scarf Landorus wins. And he did click Defog there because he wanted to make sure he got his momentum control and he was able to freely switch in and out. Go into this, click in Power Ice. Go into Heatran, click in Power Ice, brings him to 2-hit KO range. The leftovers bring him back out of 2-hit KO range. The Lele's terrain disappears, and I click Volt Switch because I don't really have much else to do. I need to bring in my Keldeo and let him do the business. Keldeo, he puts up rocks because he wants to limit my switches into Zapdos from here forward. He takes Leftovers Recovery, and I Secret Sword. I Scarf myself into Secret Sword here. Secret Sword comes out. It is able to knock this thing out. I could not risk the Hydro Pump. In hindsight, though, I should have clicked Scald because the Scald would have knocked that out. It would have 2-hit KO'd or 3-hit KO'd Gearheart or Gearhead as well. But because I clicked Secret Sword is a 3-hit KO. He's able to Dazzling Gleam, which means I am going to die. And he's going to get a Soul Heart boost. I'm like, oh, that's not good. And so he's going to get Leftovers Recovery. He didn't shift gear or grind here. He didn't shift gear this time, yeah. Go into Toasted Corn. I'm pressured by Stealth Rocks that were in-game Stealth Rocks. I'm able to click Heat Wave, and my thing is Heat Wave should kill him from where he's at. Heat Wave does not knock him out because he is in fact a bulky set. He's able to live on about 10%. He then clicks Shift Gear, and I'm like, oh, well, that's game because Gearheart or Gearhead is going to take Leftovers Recovery. I'm no longer faster than him, and from where I'm at, Dazzling Gleam is going to knock me out, especially since he's +1. So Zapdos dies, he goes to +2, and then he gets Leftovers Recovery, and then he can click Dazzling Gleam again on my Red Eyes Dragon, who takes Stealth Rocks damage, takes 25% from Stealth Rocks, and is guaranteed in range of Dazzling Gleam, with or without Stealth Rocks. So, Dazzling Gleam at +2 is going to knock out Red Eyes Dragon, and that is going to be a GG to Reeves. Reeves is going to pick up a 2-0 win over us this time. It was a GG, of course. It took a little while for it to get going, but, you know, in hindsight, I think I played a little bit bad because I mispredicted the Lopunny. The Lopunny should have not have had Ice Punch, sorry, but it ended up having Ice Punch, and I realized that after, and I kept telling myself he's a Scarf Landorus, and I played around the fact that he was not a Scarf Landorus. Because if I had played around the fact that he was a Scarf Landorus, I would have gone to Red Eyes Dragon faster, forcing his Heatran in, killing that Heatran, forcing him not to have rocks, and then I had Zard out before he could shift gear up. So hindsight's 2020, played a little bit bad, but in hindsight, he's a Scarf Landorus. He does have Stone Edge, so I don't think I would have been able to win, but I would have probably been able to reduce differential at least. But it is what it is. It's a good game. I enjoyed it thoroughly. That one was one of those games that I was on the edge of my seat for, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, be sure to leave a like down below, and of course, be sure to subscribe because we have Wi-Fi battles coming to the channel quite frequently now. Shoutouts to Aaron, of course. Be sure to check him out, and if we can, let's go ahead and try to get him to 500 subs before July 4th. But with that said, I will see you guys again in our next video. Until then, my name is MetagrossMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.